Hi, welcome to Convention Cooking with ConSuite. I'm your host Liz from ConQuesT, Kansas City's original science fiction convention, sponsored by CAXFAS, Kansas City's Science Fiction and Fantasy Society. At ConQuesT, I like to feed our dealers and staff tasty and nutritious meals that are easy to make. Today we're going to be making Tikka Masala, which was introduced to the con back in 2017 at ConQuesT 48. This is a simple recipe with lots of ingredients, but it's easy if you just stick with me. So the recipe calls for 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. I didn't have a 28 ounce can, so I'm using two 15 ounce cans. 3 ounces of tomato paste, so I'm just going to throw in about half this can, maybe. It calls for dried minced onion. Now you can use real diced onion, but like I said, I like it to be easy, where I don't have to do much prep work. Garlic powder, so I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons. Ginger, so a half teaspoon of ginger. That one doesn't fit, so we're going to try this one. Okay, half teaspoon of ginger, and I like to use a little bit of galangal powder just because it's similar to ginger, and I'm just going to put in a smidge. But I like the citrus and spicy notes that it adds. Brown sugar. So it calls for a tablespoon, and honestly, it's easier just to let out about a tablespoon. Cumin. This is the one that hasn't been used yet. Half teaspoon of cumin. A mounding 1/4 teaspoon of ground coriander. Really, at this scale, I want a 1/3 teaspoon, but I don't have a 1/3 teaspoon measuring spoon. Regular salt, 2 teaspoons of that, which I am cleverly measuring over a bowl so I don't oversalt my spice blend. And 2 tablespoons of garam masala. So this is an Indian spice mixture that you can find at large grocery stores. Usually you'll find it in the spice aisle, or you might find it in the Asian aisle as well. So I actually have, as a mix, each company makes a little bit different. So I like both of these, and I haven't picked a favorite yet. So I'm going to use a tablespoon from each. And then I'm just gonna blend these in. Break up the powdered sugar because that's chunky. Gonna add it to the crock pot. I'm gonna mix all of this up because you know the paste is just a chunk in here right now. So I'm gonna give it a stir. And then I'm going to add my protein of choice. So you want to add 2 pounds of protein, typically. When I cooked for the convention, we used chicken thighs, boneless, skinless. Today I'm going to use boneless pork sirloins because it was on sale. So I'm just going to poke this down into the liquid. Kind of cover those up. And turn it on high. We'll let it cook and we'll see how it turns out. Hi, while the camera was off, I did several things. One, I measured the temperature of the pork and it was up to 190 degrees, so I lowered it to keep warm. It took less than 3 hours for it to get to that temperature on high. I also made a pot of rice with some basmati rice for measuring scoops that come with my rice cooker. One of the secrets to having fluffy rice is to pre-rinse your rice before you add the water to cook it. So I've done that, it's done and it's stopped. I'm going to attempt to make some naan. This is not something that I would do at the convention for serving, but I thought it might be fun to try at home. I do need to warn you, I have never made this before, so bear with me as I try it myself. This portion of the video was sped up so you didn't have to watch ConSuite make naan. If you're interested in our 2-ingredient naan dough, then look for our video coming to the internet soon. So we wait patiently. One of the things I forgot to mention was if you're not into eating meat, your protein source for the Tikka Masala could be chickpeas. I would rinse 2 15-ounce cans of chickpeas and put them in and probably only cook that for about 1.5 to 2 hours on high, just depending. You don't want your chickpeas to turn into chick mush. There's nothing wrong with your video. We're just trying to speed through the naan-making process again. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Well, nothing's happening. Well, while that is going, I'm going to go ahead and work on the sauce. But first, I'm going to move my self-rising flour out of the way. These are coming along nicely. I think they need a little bit longer to cook. Yeah, still a little doughy. I don't think this hot plate gets hot enough. So I'm pulling out the pork chops, or your chicken, or whatever it is that you want to have. And now I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. Conveniently, I already have this dirty 1 cup with the same thing in it, so. And when you don't want to add your yogurt to your sauce if it's boiling, right? That's going to cause the yogurt to break, and it's going to be curdled. It's not going to be very good at all, which is why I lowered this to keep warm so that I could let it cool off. Adding the yogurt. Stir it in. The recipe as I made it today is enough service for 8 people, for 8 servings. So each person would get a half of a pork chop, which I haven't cut. But I can with my kitchen shears. Really, if you can see it, it is breaking apart. Well, I wouldn't call the naan an epic fail. I would just call the hot pot an epic fail. So I have one last thing to do, and that would be to chop some cilantro. And then I can plate it. Okay, the 2-ingredient dough was not the epic fail. What was the epic fail was using a hot plate instead of my stovetop. So I moved the pan over to the stovetop and cooked the rest of the naan pieces. And let me tell you, they look great. They look much more like naan than the original batch. So I'm going to brush the last piece with some butter. And if you wanted to, this is where you would sprinkle it with some onion or garlic to make it a flavored naan. And now I'm going to plate up my meal. Oh, wait, first I'm going to chop some cilantro leaves. All right. I'm running out of room here. So I already have some rice in this bowl. I'm going to add a little bit of pork chop, a little bit of the sauce, add a dash of cilantro, add a piece of my 2-ingredient naan, and there you go. I hope you enjoy as much as I did cooking for you. Thank you for watching Convention Cooking with ConSuite. I'm your host Liz from ConQuesT, Kansas City's original science fiction convention. I hope you can check us out on the website at conquestkc.org. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy. Doodly-doo, 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 doodly-doo.